Hey guys, Veebat here with another V-Plays, taking a look at the BF-110 Bravo. This is a Tier 4 heavy fighter, and this aircraft is going to be very similar in the way that the Focke-Wulf 5.7 works, with two 20mm cannons doing the lion's share of the damage, but it also gets the augmented damage capability of 4 light machine guns in the nose, which I believe are 7.92s. It's the German answer to light machine guns, although the caliber seems a little bit odd, but all of the German calibers seem odd. For example, you lose your 20mm tail gunner. Oh, you saw how good it did in the 57 video, but here we are now with a 13mm, which is equivalent to the 50 cal everyone else uses, which is a 12.7. So 12.7, 12.5, something along those lines. It's a 50 cal. Anyways, you lose that, you get this more peppery one that just kind of puts out a little bit of damage, and it does all right, but it's not really going to knock a lot of targets out unless they're really hurt. Now, all these guns mounted in the nose make this thing very accurate for being able to get all the guns on target pretty effectively, and I don't know what it is. It seems like the German cannons seem to have a decent velocity on them, at least this particular set of 20s, because all the bullets seem to be moving at essentially the same speed, because even when pulling lead on the targets, the small light machine guns seem to be traveling at the same speed as the heavies, so it was a lot easier to get on target. And unlike other aircraft where you have a mix of different types of armament, you're not going to get as many false hit indicators with this, since they're all kind of clumped together as the rounds move forward. Now you see me doing exactly what I described every time I talk about operating a heavy fighter. You're supposed to go after 3 primary targets. Heavy fighters, for when you see them because you can turn on them. Bombers next, because you're supposed to be at altitude engaging them, and then GAs down low because you have the hit point pool and the damage output to be able to take them out without their tail gunners tearing you apart, opposed to if your light fighters or multi-rolls try to do the exact same thing. Now, here I am going to climb to go after some bombers, but I see another GA and I figure I'm going to put some damage into him, so I'm going to start closing on the target. And as you can see from this view, all those rounds are essentially going to the exact same spot. Granted, most of them are missing on this run, and I don't know why I held down the trigger, but I did. I'm trying to drop bombs on the target, but dropping bombs on a target in the water is not going to be that effective. I may have caused him some splash damage, but I definitely was not the one who killed him. Now we're doing a straight vertical climb, well nearly. You're looking at about 50 degrees here, and we're going to start making it even sharper of an angle as we try to keep our nose on target. Normally you don't want to climb like this, and I did have to burn my engine coolant in order to do this, but I really wanted that kill because darn it, bots, you're not getting my kills. It's not helping you get out of this aircraft now, is it? So now we're on the Ju-88. We're going to try and knock him out, and again, this is what we do. If there isn't any heavies, we focus the bombers, so let us do our thing. However, you'll note that there's another red triangle heading at a pretty decent speed on the radar towards my position, and you see it got larger. That's because it was climbing and going up higher in altitude and getting closer to me. Oh, it's a heavy! That's my next thing I gotta do. Now, I said the tail gunner doesn't have that much damage, but that guy's such low health that we might as well shoot off a couple rounds and finish him off. We are trying to hold this area for as long as we possibly can. I only needed, well, I say only, I only needed about 9,000 experience in order to get out of this aircraft. So I actually buckled down and I got something that's, I forget what it's called, but if you see my consumables, it looks like a map for the first consumable. You can actually spend your tokens that you get from earning medals in the game on special consumables like this one, which increases my experience gain in the battle. And considering this is a tier 3 weekend, or excuse me, times 3 weekend, we are going to be getting a pretty significant boost out of this if we can lock down a win. Now granted, I put a token on the line for this in order to try and do it, and it'll end up paying off in the long run, but it's not something I suggest doing too often. This is me trying to get you guys videos as fast as I can and get through this grinding series. Now, we went after that aircraft, but that wasn't our primary. We're supposed to be going after GAs, right? So here's a GA. We put a good amount of hurt into him. I figured I was going to have to double back, and then this happens. Yep, he didn't turn up. Now, I don't know if it's because I blew out some of his control surfaces or something like that, but he definitely ran into that boat. We are taking on this fighter again, but he's on a head-on approach, so this is going to be way easier to lock him down. And now, I was going to move on the GA, but we got enough fighters down here, but we don't have is enough heavy aircraft up at high altitude countering bomber. So what you can see me doing here is a spiral climb. I am staying at a relatively shallow climb angle. I am using my boost, but I'm making a very sweeping turn in order to stay in a relative position underneath that bomber. Now I have enough airspeed so that way I can maintain my approach on him from underneath, and I have good shots on target for the entirety of this engagement. I do lose him a little bit on the turn here because I tried to pull it too shallow. And now I'm going to get the guns back on, but doesn't matter. The game is over. And that ended really quickly, and I was worried I wasn't going to get enough experience, but when it comes to this game mode, Invasion, it tends to either go very quickly or it takes a long time, and it's hard to get a lot of experience out of those very quick ones, and that was exactly that case. I could have drawn it out longer, but I would have risked losing the match by letting them get more capture zones in order for their timer to continue to go up. Now you can see here I have unlocked the next aircraft, so you guys get to see what I'm going to do next as I purchase the next one. I'm going to ditch that consumable because I don't want it to auto resupply and take more of my tokens away, so I'm going to go back to the fire extinguisher. That gives us a 25% boost to our experience gain. You can see for the consumables, standard heavy consumable loadout. It is going to be the gun sight, whichever one it is for that tier, the engine tuning for increased engine power, and the improved aircraft polish in order to get that bonus of 25% increase in acceleration on a dive, and you also get an increase to the top speed of 5%. Heavies are the only aircraft that get a bonus from aircraft polish in the dive. That's how you can get away from certain engagements when people are trying to chase you down. Take advantage of that bonus that you get with that consumable. Nobody else gets it. It must be worth something, and for me it has. Now you can see I just purchased the E model. It's the exact same aircraft. The guns are exactly the same. I did have the engines from previous aircraft, put the bombs on, and from here I'm going to throw on my modules. But guys, that's pretty much it. We're just going to swap the crew over. I'm going to try to get another video out of this aircraft, but all in all, the 110 line feels more like a heavy fighter. It can maneuver a lot better. It doesn't feel like you're a slug floating around in the air like you did when you were in the 57, because the battles were so slow in order to train people how to play the game. This thing starts to get that speed, and it gets a really good roll rate by comparison. It's not the best roll rate, but it feels so nice coming from the 57. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for joining me in the second step of the hunt for the ME410 as we try and use that new camo that we just purchased. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and I'll see you guys at the next one.